next speaker is Padma Shri Dr. K.S. Gopinath. Dr. K.S. Gopinath is an Indian surgical oncologist known for his pioneer work in oncology research. He is a recipient of many awards, including Dr. B.C. Roy Award in the year 2008, considering to be the prima medical honor of the country. The President of India recognized his service in the field of oncology by awarding him the fourth highest civilian award, Padma Shri, in the year 2010. He is also known to have done the extensive research in the oncologies with a special emphasis on the surgery of head and neck, comparatively study in laparoscopy and the convention of the surgical method. Cancer in the rectum of the impact of yoga in cancer. He is also regarded as a specialist in the treatment of breast cancer. Today, he is speaking on the exploitations of biology and the management of cancer clinical perspective. So I would like to call upon Dr. K.S. Gopinath. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation to participate in this meeting. I have to really thank Partha and his team who is taking this into a greater heights year by year. Though we are in the amidst the pandemic COVID, it has not prevented them from having the meeting. With this in background, I thought I should speak as a clinician, and our good friend Dr. Advani has already spoken about the various aspects of cancer. What I thought was today we know that the scientist and the clinician should come together, how they can come together and how we can take it forward for the better care of the patient. So I've chosen the topic to speak on exploiting biology in the management of cancer, clinicians' perspectives. Next slide. We all know that facts in oncology, cancer cell today belongs to everybody. Every specialist, be it a scientist, clinician, or any other field of science, he always contributed to the development of the science in oncology. We know that biology is the king, technology is the queen, molecular theranostic are prince and princess. Treatment of cancer lies in our own gene. That is how we are looking at the changes which is happening. And as I told you, the cancer cell belongs to everybody. Once the patient walks into the clinic, how we utilize it to make a diagnosis, stage the disease, plan the treatment, what we call as multidisciplinary team involvement is the order of the day. With this in background, next slide, please. When you look at how the clinician and the integration of the basic science, a good basic scientist in the laboratory works on the Drosophila, and they will look at the various aspects of the Drosophila, how we can be utilize it in clinical practice. Drosophila is one of the very, very important thing. From Drosophila, we can also do a lot of experiment, mouse experiments, tissue cultures. Then we have the tumor cell line. And as the clinician, we were interested in human specimen, all the experiments done by the basic science, how we can utilize it in the clinical practice. Breast is a classical example where a lot of changes have been taken place, starting from the genomic conventional treatment of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and hormone therapy to integration into the immuno-oncology today. See, whenever the clinician looks, he looks at the whole clinical scenario. His thinking is what is the stage of the disease and what is the metastatic workup I can do and what are the good prognostic factor. Can I predict the disease? Prediction is one of the very important thing. Predictability is a very difficult entity, and we can always, the first question asked by our patients is, sir, how long I am going to survive? This is the common question we face in and day out. So predictability, even till today, is a very difficult factor, though we have made in advances in predicting the various parameters, utilizing them to calculate and give a good quality of life. And this is one of the pathways where all the molecular people are interested, scientists are interested. They develop these research pathways over the years and decades. After understanding the basic science, they develop the pathways and given us the various kinds of drug discoveries, which we are not able to do it. The classical example is chronic leukemias, where the imatinib has played an important role. gastrointestinal tumor. These are the few examples where the clinician has been utilized the concept, the development of the drug by the research protocols. These are the cancer survivors, we call it. Our basic philosophy in treatment of cancer is cure the cancer, conserve the cancer, give cosmesis and comfort. These are the few people whom we have learned a lot of things from the head and neck cancers, colon and rectum cancer, breast cancer. These we call these as the survivors. When they prolong for it, we call them the conquerors, and from them we look back to their charts and see why they have done so well. This is the era we are looking back at it, various aspects. Though we know that the genomic data is very difficult for us over the years, now we have to develop in future genomic data, why these people did well, why, though we could not predict initially the disease, but they are all long-term survivors having a good quality of them. A lot of people were in the concept that they have cured the disease, they have conserved the organ, hospice is also maintained, they are leading a good quality of life. And these are the cancer survivors over the years. After 15 years, 20 years, especially during the COVID period, we are seeing them coming back with the second primaries, coming back with the development of recurrences and development of metastatic disease in unusual signs. The question in front of us, and even to the answer to the patient, why did I develop the recurrence after 15 years, and what is metastatic disease and recurrence of the disease? We really don't know how to answer this question. This is where there is a need for understanding the genomic pathways, molecular pathways, and utilize them in the patient's specimens, study them, where that is why the newer concept coming up and working together between the scientist and the clinician. And we all know that today we are in the era of multidisciplinary team. Development of integrated comprehensive care is more important. Whenever we're planning the treatment, every specialist member are involved with us, starting from the clinical oncologist to genomic people, lab people, psycho-oncology, imaging, palliative care. All these people are in the part of the team. And whenever we are planning the treatment, we look into the concept of evidence-based medicine, economy-based medicine, and experience-based medicine. And in the treatment of cancer today, we looked at the generalized treatment, then the organ-specific treatment and targeted therapy. In the organ-specific treatment, today we look at, can we preserve the organ and give a functional integrity to the patient, what we call an organ-preserving procedure, which we practice routinely in breast cancer, head and neck cancer, especially the laryngeal cancers. And today, when it comes to the systemic treatment of cancer, we had a targeted therapies which you are allowed, and today we are in the era of immuno-oncology, immunotherapy, which people have done wonders from their research work. And when you look at the whole thing, on one side you can see various things, how we are utilized BRCA1 and 2, and then Oncotype DX, we are assessing the predictive factors. BRCA1 and 2 in breast cancer, we are able to give it to every patient who walks in whenever it is needed. Similarly, the lung cancers, colorectal cancer, and then we have with the single test and the utility in the clinical practice, we can plan the treatment, assess the prognosis of the patient. And today the problem is, we call it a precision oncology, wherein we looked at the various aspects of it and plan the treatment either in the metastatic setting or in the primary disease status itself, performing all molecular markers. On the one hand, you can see this, though the very busy slide, you can see how we have achieved over the years the therapies for various diseases. Precision oncology is the order of the day, tailoring of the disease prevention and treatment based on the characteristics of each individual. As we say that all the 5 fingers are not the same, every cancer is not same in every human being, each patient is different. That is why the role of molecular theranostics has come into picture. Genomic sequencing, we can use it on the routine basis in selected cases. Precision cancer therapy, as I told you, molecular profiling, we can do it. Then we can have the prognostic markers, markers for predictive of the drug sensitivity, markers for predicting the adverse reaction. Then we can know what drug to be used, whether it is effective or not. We all know about the various basics of it, the tumor microenvironment, we are aware of it, and various prognostic marker through the NGS, where we can plan our treatment. A specific protocol can be adopted. Precision medicine starts with the diagnostic using the genomics. Precision surgery, today we know that the conventional surgery, radical surgery to organ preservation, and we are using to do the specific thing, the using the robot as one of the important thing in selected cases, the gold standard like prostate cancer treatment, precision radiotherapy, then targeted therapy. These are the various subsite specific disease where we can use, so that avoid unnecessary treatment, and which will improve the outcomes of the result. Outcomes are more important, so that patients will have a good quality of life. Obstacle to precision medicine, anything which newcome clinician doesn't accept it, he always think it will be very expensive. How patients can use it? Is it an evidence based? Is it an economy based? Is it an experience based? In spite of all these things, in spite of initially there may be a financial burden, progress of science should take place. We have to do the research, we have to develop. Initially it will be a high cost. Once it start utilizing to every patient, the cost will come down. This is where the economy based measure. Changing phase in oncology, as I already told you, precision medicine is an exciting area of innovation. Long way to go before research meets quality of clinical care. Today we are trying to understand what is static mutations to dynamic cancer genomes, genetic description to genomic actionability, predictions to detection of residual and metastatic disease, clinical to molecular responses. Precision medicine will shift from research to clinical care in future. In the earlier years, we used to tell bench to bedside. Now it is from bedside to bed. This is where we have seen the paradigm shift in solid tumors. Clinical versus technology, we are all aware of. To stage the disease, we have a PET CT available, from simple chest X-ray to the PET CT. Then we are trying to understand the human biology, conservatism in oncology, and quality of life in oncology is the most important thing. As a surgeon, you know, from conventional open surgery to minimal invasive surgery, including laparoscopy. And this is one of the important development which has taken place, especially the cancer of the oral cavity, where the mandible has to be removed and giving a quality of life, what we call as need of the hour. Whenever we remove the mandible, it should be reconstructed. And even with the simple facilities using the conventional loop of 2.5 magnification, we can do the microvascular. This is how we do the reconstruction of the mandible using this loop, even if you don't have a good microscope for surgical procedure. This is the most important, the front part of the mandible. You remove it, patient needs to have a good dysphagia deglutition mechanism. This is how, and we utilize here the 3D reconstruction and plan the procedure. See, today, as I told you, we are utilizing the imaging technique, the 3D technology, 3D printing, create the models before the patient come to the operation table, and we can show them this is how you look like, this is what the part of the bone you have cut, how we do the molding of your organs whenever you do the reconstructive procedure. This is where the advance has been taken, not only the biological aspect of it, the technological advancement, where patients' expectations are high, patients want a good cosmosis, we can discuss with the patient, even the problems we face in post-operative complications and other. This is the imaging. We have made advances, conventional CT scan to MRI to molecular imaging with 3D, so that every organ has been studied, and look at the whole of the mandible, where you know where to make the cuts. From imaging, we started using the molecular imaging to stage the disease, plan the treatment, assess the prognosis. If you utilize PET CT as one of the important entity, after giving your systemic treatment, you can always make use of it. Response to treatment is there or not, then we can predict what will be the good prognosis. Next. And this is the 3D printing technology we developed over the years, and we have now a lot of head and neck reconstruction of the bone, reconstruction of the vertebra can be done utilizing 3D printing. Before patient come to the operation table, we can sit with them and show them the model, what we are going to use, how we have put the bone in all these areas. Next slide, please. This is the example of mandible. We can show the patient where we are going to make the cuts. These are called as cutting edge technology. This is how we will remove it. You can see from the lower ends of the bone, take the similar bone, put it back with the microvascular. This is the actual surgical usage of treatment planning using the cutting edge technology and 3D printing technology. This is how we utilize the technology to create the mandible so the patient will have a good quality of life. He should be able to eat well, he should be able to drink well, and he should be able to look much more back to the original looking of him. This is how we utilize in the reconstruction of the mandible for mandibular cancer. This is whenever he is having a palatal cancer, we use the similar technology. Here it is very, very important because swallowing mechanism, if you don't reconstruct these people, you can see in the whole picture, the clinical picture on one side, imaging picture on the other side. We can show the patient exactly where is the problem. Then we can create a model using the plastic modules and show them our amount of resection, how much of the bone we take. This is how the patient looks like after reconstruction. He should be able to eat well. Next slide, please. And we're coming back to the whatever, these are the surgeon's thing to show that what he can do. And no, as I told you, the biological things which has changed, whenever the patient walks into the thing, if you have to look at the specific changes, you can take the tumor tissue, especially in the lung. We have made advances. Today we know that extraction of the DNA, RMA, and to do the profile for somatic alteration, plan the treatment. And targeted therapy, every organ is different. As I told you, we had the clinical patient, we had the breast tumor, we can do the molecular analysis. Today we know that molecular classification of breast cancer is existing depending upon the intraluminal classification, A, B, C, D, plan the treatment, what kinds of drugs we should use it. Next. And as I told you, molecular classification of breast cancer, patients by genomic expression filing, molecular classification and forecasting of the breast cancer ready for clinical application, and luminal classification, I already mentioned it, understanding of the molecular differences between every clinical case is more important. You know that these are the two men who have really done a wonderful work and giving it to us, the immuno-oncology cancer, immuno-oncology therapy. Today it is available for the discovery. They were all given the Nobel Prize. You are all know about it. Ellison and Tasako Hunjo's contribution, where the biology meets the clinician's perspective, one of the classical examples. Next. This is just to show you to the people a melanoma disseminated. We can use the immuno-oncology and you can see the whole disappearance of the tumor after the immuno-oncology treatment. Next. And today there is a changing trend. We are looking at the genomes. We are looking at the chromatin status in the new protein, how it is going to be helpful. We know that we are in the era of chromatin organizing protein. Proteins are very important to us, and proteomics also coming up with status of chromatin in especially the cancer cell chromatin. There is a lot of thinking going on. This is where we are looking at it, status of chromatin in breast cancer. We made a small publication on this also with Kunduz Laboratory. Next slide, please. And future tumor board will be not like what we are discussing about radiation oncologists, medical oncologists, surgical oncologists, imaging people sitting together. The future tumor board will be an entirely different pattern, and your EMR with medical record, circulating tumor cells, molecular imaging, utility of the radiomics in the treatment of cancer. We hope that in future year it will be a virtual tumor board where we can utilize it to plan the treatment. And in the School of Surgical Oncology, the temple of learning, humility, and humbleness, we see various kinds of cancers. One cancer does very well, another cancer come back with the recurrences. Predictability still remain a dilemma. So there is a need for clinical perspectives and integration with basic scientists working together between the lab and the wards is more important to achieve success. And economizing the cancer care with all the research is the order of the day. Whatever we do the research, when it comes back to the clinical, we have to look it in mind how we can use the economizing the cancer care. Next slide. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all awash in the sea of information, yet we are starved of knowledge. My humble appeal to you is cancer cell belongs to everybody. Everybody should belong. Nobody should feel that his department, whatever he is doing, may not be good. So our main aim is cancer cell belongs to everybody. Cancer, everybody should contribute to the development of science. And at the end of the day, what we are going to give it to the human being for the utility, cure of cancer, conserve the cancer is more important. Thank you very much for the invitation you extended to me. Thank you very much. Thank you.